Hello everybody, I'm Kyle Malone. I'm joined with Stephon White today, and this is LRM Ranks It. Today we're going to actually be ranking the top 10, or at least our top 10 MCU movies. I say our top 10 because obviously everybody out there has got a different idea of what their favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe film is, and we decided to go with 10 because 20... We tried to rank 20 movies, and it was
difficult, man.
It was a long video. Yes, yeah. Absolutely. So we're gonna cut it down, and we're gonna do our top 10. I love the MCU. Going back to the first Iron Man film, I was totally stoked. You know, a lot of people say Iron Man was a B-roster character when his movie came out.
He was, essentially.
Yeah, but he had a starring role in Civil War, the comic book Civil War, which was pretty good.
That's a good point.
It was very, very good, you know. And he's always been an Avenger. You know, well, not always, but mostly,
I guess it's the forefront of knowledge.
Yeah.
Folks, like who they referencing,
You mentioned Marvel, and the first thing that comes to mind is like X-Men,
man.
Spiderman, something like that.
Yeah, those guys, yeah.
So I could see that, but I mean...
To cement a whole, like, to start a universe
with him,
character, that's a challenge.
I mean, Warner Brothers went with Superman and Batman first. You know, you have Superman with Christopher Reeves.
I kind of wish they chose a third tier character there. You know, maybe they would have had more luck. You know?
Well, I mean, like, they started off with Christopher Reeves Superman. I mean, even before then, you've got the Superman and the Batman serials, and of course Adam West.
Right.
But as far as movies, you know, major productions, you got the Superman films with Chris Reeves.
Yeah.
And then you go into Tim Burton's Batman.
Sure.
And then you get some other stuff thrown in there.
It's dicey, man.
Yeah. Marvel, they had, you know, of course you had your Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, you had your X-Men films, Blade.
Oh, man.
A lot of people seem to forget Blade even had it, and it was great.
He was kind of the genesis of the superhero.
Two of them were great. Two of
them. Oh, man. Trinity was like, oh, my God.
It was not my thing.
I want my money back to this
day. My money back and that 2 hours back.
Yeah, man.
But they had also had a horrible Punisher movie.
Oh, which one?
With Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, the one by Lexi.
No, Dolph, way back in the day.
Way back in the day.
Yeah. That wasn't too happening, man. And
I don't know about any of the Punisher films, man.
Really? You didn't see Warzone?
Warzone? I did see Warzone. Yeah.
The thing about that is, so like Tom Jane had better acting, but he wasn't the Punisher in his movie.
No.
You know, that first Punisher movie came back, you know, years ago.
What about that scene with the fire extinguisher when he sets the fire extinguisher there and it's like, it's kind of...
I got annoyed when he's like playing with raw meat and stuff with the Russian guy.
Oh, yeah, man, yeah.
It had its moment. It was definitely better acted.
Sure,
but
he's a good actor.
Warzone was actually more like the Punisher.
Oh, that was gritty. It was,
you know, but the acting was horrible.
It was horrible, man.
And the guy playing Jigsaw was... It almost felt like a Adam West Batman episode, you know?
The Punisher, there was that dude doing cartwheels, and the Punisher hits him from a rocket launcher.
But that he was more violent, more like the Punisher.
He was the guy from Rome. And I love Rome. Yeah. And that was... He
also plays one of the Warriors 3 in the Thor movies.
Really?
The guy that played Punisher in Warzone.
Oh, man.
Yes. Yep, he was.
Right, cool.
But nothing tops as far as Punisher. And we'll get to our list, I promise. But nothing tops Netflix's The Punisher.
Oh, man, nothing.
That
is on point, man.
Brutal.
That is like... When he gets... It takes a while. Like, I was talking to one of my buddies, and he's like... He's a guy, he's like, I don't like watching anything where the superheroes have real life problems. And I'm like...
That's what makes them relatable.
That makes them relatable, right? Like, I don't want to see them just wham, bam, bazoom, punching folks all the day.
So he must like DC more than Marvel.
He likes DC. He's telling me to watch Arrow and all these things. I'm like, but look, if you give the Punisher a chance, get past the PTSD stuff. Yeah. And once it gets rolling, man... It is serious.
I remember his when he was in Daredevil season 2 and the scene in jail after he inadvertently or explicitly he helps the Kingpin out sort of,
right,
and the Kingpin wants to go ahead and get rid of him though because he poses a threat.
Sure.
And there's that jailhouse fight scene with the Punisher versus the other prisoners, and you're just
that's the Punisher,
dude,
man.
he is through and through the Punisher
for sure.
But let's get back to the purpose we're here to discuss. And we're gonna be ranking our individual ideas of the top 10 Marvel Cinematic Universe. This includes everything starting off with Iron Man and going all the way to Avengers Infinity War. Of course, we haven't gotten to Captain Marvel or Avengers 4 yet, so those will be to come. And I'm sure it seems like every time a Marvel movie comes out, my list changes. What about you?
I'm the same way, man. It's like, because you think you've seen it all, and then you see a movie like The Guardians of the Galaxy Part 1, and you're like, wow, this is a game changer.
Yep.
This is my new favorite film.
Yeah.
You know, these guys feel like a family. I feel like part of their family. Yep. It's a good film.
So I'll start off with my number 10. It is a fairly recent movie. It was Thor Ragnarok.
Really?
I absolutely love Thor Ragnarok. I thought it was a blast and a half. You've got some great comedy. Sure. And here's one of the things I really love about the Thor character. He, in my mind, has actually had the best arc from beginning to end.
For sure. All the characters.
Exactly. Where you've got the first Thor movie, very, to quote the...
Shakespearean.
Yeah, Shakespearean. You know, doth mother know you're wearing her drapes.
Right.
He was very, very Shakespearean, very, very traditional Norse mythology Thor, right? Bleached eyebrows and everything included, you know?
Yeah.
And you get all the way to Infinity War, where he has a heartbreaking conversation with Rocket. You know, his mom's dead, his dad's dead, his brother's dead, half his entire species is gone. You know, like it's
Asgardians.
Yeah, you know, and he's like, well, I have to, because what else do I have to lose? You know,
he changed, man.
Exactly, and I think a lot of his changes have come from his time spent with the Avengers on Earth.
Regular characters.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Definitely changed him up quite a bit.
Definitely.
I like the premise of Thor Ragnarok. Let's take him out of Asgard and take him away from Earth. They put him over on Sakaar. You get some great interactions with the Grandmaster, played by the brilliant Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my god! Yeah, I give a round of applause for that.
I love that. I'm really hoping to see more of Jeff Goldblum in the.
I hope we see more of him.
What are they doing? The Eternals.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
Yeah.
Yep,
so
that'd be cool.
I think you could get some Collector and Grandmaster involved.
That'd be awesome, man.
In an Eternals movie.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the best vehicle for them, but it definitely would work.
It'd be a good bridge.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be as comic book accurate as some might like, but I'll be down with it. I was never really big on the cosmic side of comic books.
Right.
Were you?
Not really. I was more the the characters that had like boots on the ground, things like that. I really didn't get into.
I have a friend, a buddy of mine from high school. He's big in the cosmic side.
Really?
And while he loved Guardians of the Galaxy, he was kind of upset that it wasn't as true to form as some of the other MCU movies have been to their source material.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you mean by that?
I don't know. He felt like Drax was incredibly underpowered. And I was like,
is he more powerful in the
comics? Yeah, he's way more powerful in the comics.
Okay.
But I was like, this is a different Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not just the comic book Guardians of the Galaxy. But same thing with Thor. Thor's a super powerful character, and in Ragnarok, we finally get to see him become the God of Thunder again.
Definitely, man. Without Illinois,
I loved everything that happened in that movie. I love the Doctor Strange stuff. Doctor Strange is in my top 10 with his own movie,
awesome,
and I loved him in Infinity War. What did you think about Ragnarok?
Oh, Ragnarok was like one of my favorite films, man. I really loved it. I felt like the whole it felt like a buddy comedy almost, but with like three buddies. You've got Hulk, you've got Thor, and in addition to that, you got Loki. And they were all playing off each other in a great way. Where it had seriousness to it. Loki died, but it felt like a really fun movie, and I think that's what Marvel does best.
Loki didn't die in this one.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Odin.
There you go.
Yeah, Odin dies, and because Loki dies in the
Infinity
Avengers.
War.
Infinity War. But it felt like it was like a perfect balance. It had comedy, it had action, but at the same time, it didn't feel so overly serious. It wasn't back to Thor 1, where you can see that arc. Thor 1 was just like you said, does South wear mother's curtains? And I was a huge fan of the movie. I mean, you get to see the Hulk and he's talking and everything.
Yeah, which was great. You get the very interesting.
You get the devil's anus. It took itself a lot less seriously than any of the Marvel movies I felt. And it knew what it was doing, and it did it competently.
But it didn't feel like it didn't feel out of place.
Oh no,
I know some people and some of you out there might feel that Thor Ragnarok was too comedic. But if you go back and you look, like I said, you go back and you look at Thor to Thor 2 to the Avengers, Age of Ultron, all the way to Thor Ragnarok, you can see a complete arc, and he changes a little bit in each movie.
Film, yeah.
In each movie.
You're right on that point with him having...
I know I'm right. I'm always right.
Yeah. He's got the best arc out of anybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your number 10, man?
My number 10 will be Thor 1.
Thor 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be Thor 1.
That's not even in my top 10.
Really?
No, not at all.
All right, yeah. I felt like it deserves a number 10 spot because it introduced Thor. And it did it in a way that made him relatable to audiences. Knowing that he's from this realm of Shakespearean sort of, conversation and things like that. And the politics and of Asgard and everything. And it brought it to Earth in a way that was relatable, that made sense to an audience that had no idea who, in most cases, Thor isn't many folks' favorite characters.
No,
you ask many people's wives who's their favorite character in the MCU, and they say Thor.
Yeah,
they all know who Thor is.
I mean, it has nothing to do with the muscles or the chiseled body, right?
Not.
Nothing to do with that.
Not,
it's all about the the performance.
Definitely, very Shakespearean and Othello-like, right? Yeah. So, and I felt like that was a challenge, and they pulled that off. And by doing so, they brought a character like Thor into the Avengers.
Yeah.
And that's gotta deserve kudos to me, because to me it's easier to bring a character like Spider-Man into the realm, but Thor, they did it perfectly with Odin and everything. And like you said, look at his arc, look where he is today, and we wouldn't be there without Thor 1.
My biggest issue with all of the Thor movies, except for the third one because she's not in there, is Jane.
Oh man,
the chemistry's not there, man.
It isn't.
Hemsworth and Portman don't have. It
You're
is
right there, man.
It is a brick wall against a brick wall.
With the unnatural, we can say that, but he definitely doesn't have fascination with her.
Who actually had better on-screen chemistry?
Who's that?
Him and Kat Dennings' character.
Oh my god, yeah,
they actually played off each other a little bit. They're
friend.
funnier, her friend,
definitely.
And they don't even have that much interaction, but it's more believable that they have what they have versus. Him and Jane. It's
the reason we haven't seen her anymore.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I know my sister, she's a big fan of the Thor movies. Okay. She hates the relationship between Thor and Jane.
It's so forced.
With a passion.
Yeah.
So, nice shout out to my younger sibling there. So.
Yeah, it's a good plug there.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. But it's, I can definitely see that. It seemed like the filmmakers had to force a way for us to be introduced to this alien creature, and they're trying. At the same time, they're saying he's alien, but they're going with the whole concept that magic is a higher form of alien technology.
Yeah, which and I'll get into that when I get to Doctor Strange.
Okay, cool.
I hated that scene in Thor 1 where they're like, I come from a place where magic and science are one and the same.
Sure.
And that harkens back even before Doctor Strange came out. I don't remember if it was Kevin Feige, but somebody involved in the MCU was like. We're going to explain magic to where it's absorbing powers from interdimensional space or something like that. It's no, right? Just give us
magic,
fucking
right?
magic.
Yeah,
give us magic. So,
I get you there.
Cool choice, man. Thor 1.
That was a ballsy thing. With
absolutely. And J. Michael Straczynski was one of the writers. It was loosely based off of his run on Thor.
Really? Okay.
And I like JMS. He's one of my favorite comic book writers, I was down with it.
All right.
It might not be in my top 10, but it's definitely a good movie.
Cool. I feel like I chose a worthy number 10.
You did, man.
Yeah.
It's all good, and whatever is worthy in your mind. Worthy, I like that. Is that on purpose? Worthy?
Worthy. Yeah.
Okay.
On purpose. Yeah.
nice play on themes there.
Cool.
Let's go on to number 9. My number 9 was Black Panther. This year's Black Panther was a phenomenal movie.
Okay.
Absolutely a cultural juggernaut.
Sure.
There's so much in that movie that I love, and we're looking at Oscar season coming up, and there's Disney pushing for this to get Best Picture, and I'm down with it. I don't know if it is necessarily the Best Picture of the year.
I don't know.
I actually think Infinity War is a better movie than it in general, but I'll tell you one Oscar I know for certain Black Panther deserves, and that's costume.
Oh my God, they were on point.
If you're gonna give makeup to Suicide Squad, where half the crap is CGI. and not give costumes to Black Panther. They did an amazing job blending the modern world with very African,
for sure,
tribal type
and giving
themes,
it like a technological spin,
giving a technological spin and bringing it to life in a very, very believable way.
Right.
The bad guy was great.
We didn't spend an hour getting exposition about Wakanda.
No,
we just went with it, and it made sense.
And that was great. And like I was saying, the bad guy was great in it.
Oh, Killmonger.
Killmonger did a great job.
Michael B. Jordan in that role.
Hey, look, I think one of my first experiences with Michael B. Jordan was Chronicle. Josh Trank's little superhero.
Right. Superhero.
And while that had its rough edges,
sure,
I love Chronicle.
It was a great film.
I thought it was
really good.
I thought it was a fun film.
Yeah.
And Michael B. Jordan's character in that was great. He did a great job in that movie.
The jock and everything.
Yeah, and I really appreciated where he was coming from in this movie in Black Panther. It was a different take on the bad guy. Here's somebody that, I mean, we've had bad guys in the past in other movies, not just this franchise, but others where their ends justify the means.
Right.
And the ends he's looking for is kind of positive, bring Wakanda out of the shadows, but to make Wakanda in charge of everybody go and basically
level the world.
Level the world, enslave everybody else, or lay siege to the rest of the world because of past transgressions.
Sure.
It's an awesome story piece. It really is. I mean, it's not something that should ever be done.
Ambitious,
but
man.
Ambitious. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but nobody should ever be laying siege to the entire planet.
Right.
And that includes Ultron and Thanos and all them. They shouldn't do it. That's bad. Bad. Don't lay siege to the entire planet.
Don't do that.
But it was great. Snapping. His motivation was very.
It felt authentic.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Authentic's a great word to say.
It was an interesting playoff between the two characters.
Yeah.
Of Black Panther and Killmonger.
Yeah. Two people from. Two completely different backgrounds, but similar ancestry.
Sure.
And similar legacy.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I like his first scene there inside the museum where he's talking to one of the curators. It's a great scene. I'll tell you my least favorite part of Black Panther is the death of Claw.
Why they waste that character like that, man? Why did they waste
that character? Oh, God, you're right.
Mixtape and everything.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I love...
I want to see him in more MCU films
in
the future, man.
I love Circus. And you know what? A friend of mine had mentioned several times how great a Thunderbolts movie could be with the MCU. And you have Baron Zemo after Civil War hiding.
I didn't think about that.
Black Panther prevented. Black Panther first appeared in Captain America Civil War, and he kept Zemo from killing himself.
Yeah.
And Zemo could be an amazing replacement for Osborn. On a Thunderbolts team.
Sure.
And Claw would have been a great part of that as well.
Oh my God.
And even Killmonger could have been a great part.
Right? Yeah.
But they killed Claw. I don't know.
They killed Killmonger and Claw.
Well, I see they did Killmonger in such a way that I still think that T'Challa could have saved him. After he kind of passed out at the verge of death. Maybe T'Challa put some with
Shuri.
They got
advanced technology in there.
And they saved him.
Without his
maybe.
knowledge,
I hope so.
Put him in stasis or something and we'll get back
That's
to
one
him.
of the things is Marvel keeps killing off some of their best villains.
They do, man. Yeah.
Is Black Panther on your top 10 somewhere?
Black Panther is
don't say
top 10
okay
somewhere.
So I guess we'll get
appreciated the film.
We'll get a little bit more into yours when you get there, but that's how I feel. Like the Black Panther character was a great character, good villains.
Right.
I definitely think the villain deserved at least another 15 minutes on film to fully flesh him out.
Yeah, show me some more of them. Yeah,
definitely. So what's your number 9?
My number 9 would have to be AntMan.
AntMan, okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Another one that's not on my top 10.
It's not on your top 10?
I love the movie, though.
Really?
I love the movie.
Oh, man. It's on my top 10 because it made Marvel movies. Like, you didn't have to know anything about Marvel characters. And you could watch Ant-Man and see Rudd and see him act out these scenes and Michael Douglas. And it just made so much sense. Yeah. It was like an easy intro. It was like a heist film almost. Yeah. It felt like a caper.
It was never just a heist.
Right, yeah. And, man, it just came together in such a way that you didn't have to have any prior knowledge of any Marvel comic books, and you would just get it, Yeah. I mean, Paul Rudd isn't even, he isn't even the inventor of the Ant-Man technology in this film,
Smart guy, but borrows it all from Hank.
Exactly, right?
How'd you feel about, since it's not on my top 10, I do like the movie.
Yeah.
I actually appreciated not using Hank.
Okay.
And using Scott instead. How'd you feel about that?
I thought it was interesting because I prefer if they could have done Hank, but I understand that his character in the comics is a lot darker, and he does some things that are a little sensitive.
Yeah, definitely.
So I get that. Let's go with another guy. He's the tech. Let's have Hank be the tech guy, and he passes on to somebody
He's the guy
else.
in the chair.
I'm fine with that. Totally fine with that.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Hank Pym does have, like you said, a dark past.
Yeah.
That involves some.
Say it lightly.
Yeah, that is putting it lightly. To involve some domestic abuse of his wife, and not only in the original comics, but even Mark Millar's. Did they pronounce it Millar or Miller?
I think it was Millar.
Millar. Yeah. Mark Millar's Ultimates run has that particular
dude,
scene in there.
He ruins the world.
I think he even goes worse with the bug spray. I don't remember if the bug spray was in the original.
He's a sick dude, man.
So Hank had some issues, but
have you read the Age of Ultron run?
Yeah, when it first came out.
Yeah.
It wasn't my cup of tea, but yeah.
Mostly responsible for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He makes a lot of mistakes, so I'm totally fine with just passing it off
to
somebody else. Yeah.
And plus you got the great work with the three guys that he knows. I know T.I.'s one of them. Luis, I can't remember the actor's name, but Luis. Right. I can't remember T.I.'s character. And then the Eastern European guy. All three of them had great parts in the movie. Their chemistry was real good. Yeah. I feel kind of bad. I can remember one guy's real name and one guy's character's name. I can't remember anything about the third guy.
Yeah.
But I did. I really enjoyed it.
It was a great film, though.
It was. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. And you're right. Totally fun. Like you had to have no knowledge of. You didn't have to come in there with knowledge of Wolverine or anything like that.
You could just go right into it.
Yeah, you just go right into it, and you went with it. It was funny,
Yeah.
I mean, you get Thomas Tank Engine.
Yes, yes.
And Anthony, who can forget that, man?
Although I will say this, there's been a lot of poor villains in the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
Yellow Jacket might be the worst villain in the MCU.
As you notice, out of all the positive things I said about AntMan, I did not once mention the villain. Because it is the most forgettable part of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm definitely with you there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep going with number 8. My number 8 film is Iron Man. Yes, the original movie that started the entire MCU is in my top 10.
All right.
I don't think it holds up as well as it used to. Marvel has just raised the bar so many times.
Yeah.
But none of this would exist without Jon Favreau and Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man movie.
Right. That's a good choice.
Yeah, it's
Iron Man.
It's a weaker villain, but the villain's played by Jeff Bridges. I mean, come on, that's the dude.
He was great.
That's the dude. That's Clue from Tron.
Clue.
You know.
Yeah.
I love Bridges. I love the part with the pizza. He's like, no, you can't have any. Man. You can't have any of my pizza. Okay, yeah, you can have one slice. That's a very Jeff Bridges like moment. You know?
Definitely.
You get
that whole father figure dynamic.
Yeah,
with
he
Tony,
did.
Man.
He did.
It felt authentic.
It did. It absolutely did, and it was a breath of fresh air compared to the X-Men movies in my mind. Which, and look, I'm sure I'll get some hate mail, and you can send your hate mail at @Malone on Twitter. The X-Men movies are nowhere near as good as people make them out to be. Not even X2.
I watched X2 actually last night.
Really?
With my family.
How do you think it holds up?
It does not hold up.
It does not hold up?
It does not hold up.
Okay. I didn't think it would hold up either.
No, it is for its era, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's
ready for costumes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of times like that. And look, if those X-Men movies speak to you, that's good. It's great. I love being told stories. There's movies I like that I'm sure some of you guys, even you, would probably hate them, but they're they are what they are to whoever they are. Sure. But definitely, Iron Man was a breath of fresh air in taking the source material. Because let's remember, Fox made fun of the idea of blue and yellow spandex in the first X-Men movie.
Man.
And everybody's clad in black leather and stuff,
Why,
you know?
Man? Why think of like the Matrix?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's got to be...
Exactly. And here you got Iron Man running around in a bright red and golden suit.
Look how far they're taking that.
Exactly. Yeah. Costumes in the MCU have been amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'll get more to that at number 6. So yeah, Iron Man's my number 8 film.
Nice.
Is Iron Man on your top 10? The original?
Interesting, man, because Iron Man 1 is not in my top 10.
Why isn't it? Let's talk about that. Why is it not?
Because there are so many. You know what? It's due to a embarrassment of riches.
Okay,
because Marvel has so many awesome movies, where it's kind of it's hard to choose. I can see how Iron Man 1 could fit in anybody's top 10. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
But but since it's come out, they've had so many like hits and so many movies that resonate with different fans or non-fans.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's not in my top 10.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
Any comments on it since I was talking about it?
Oh yeah, it's a great film. Iron Man 1. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be possible there was nothing like when you watched Iron Man, and Marvel set the bar with this post-credit
scene
sequences. Yeah, man.
You think you're the only superhero,
right?
You know,
That was like what?
I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative.
Yes.
I remember the crowd in the theater being,
oh my god, man! Yes, mind blown. Like, you know,
he said Avengers. Oh my god!
Avengers. What are we
Do you know
get?
what that means?
And you know what's great? Marvel followed up on that premise.
Yes, they
followed
did.
up and delivered.
Absolutely.
You know, it wasn't just a, let's throw it out there and see if fans get aboard with it and they do a run with it. No. Marvel knows what they're doing, man.
Yeah.
And so I can definitely get with Avengers in your top 10.
And Feige, we trust.
Definitely, man. Feige, we trust.
So what's your number 8?
My number 8 is going to actually be the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a little lower than I have it, but go
really
ahead.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, the Avengers gets my number 8 because it is a solid film. Okay. You get the helicarriers. You get
God,
shields.
so great.
I love it because you get a lot of Nick Fury action, man. That's like the most we see of Shield in any of the Marvel movies, right? Yeah, we really get like it feels like you're in there
until
with
Civil
Shield.
War. We got quite a bit
Until
of Shield in
Civil War,
or not
right.
Civil War, but Winter Soldier.
Until Winter Soldier.
Yep.
But before that, like this movie right here goes into the almost like the organics of Shield. You get Nick Fury, you get how he's playing off these characters. You get like a fake death. Remember he takes the cards, he puts blood on them and everything like that.
Yep.
So they can come together as a team and whatnot. You get the whole Thor and the Hulk sort of dichotomy and everything,
Thor
right?
and Hulk fight.
And they're all on a helicarrier, man. It's kind of hard to, and Loki, you get a bad Hawkeye.
The first amazing villain in the MCU.
Yeah.
And Loki, who did well in the first Thor
Loki
movie.
was great. Yeah, that's why I put Thor on my list.
Really came into his own in
Right.
the Avengers movie.
For sure. Yeah, as a villain, with the scepter and touching people and corrupting them, and Hawkeye was great as a villain,
Yep.
And that to me, like seeing how it was like a family on a ship, like a family getting to know each other, right? And then it all fell apart, when Loki stepped in, but then they pulled it back together.
Yeah.
And what's better than getting the Hulk come back and Hulk out on a bunch of aliens?
That is still one of the coolest scenes in all the MCU. That's my secret cap.
And
I'm always angry.
I mean, when Hulk
and it just punches that thing. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome. When Hulk gets a hold of Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man. Yeah. It's kind of, it's got to be on my list.
It definitely. It's on my list. It's a little higher than yours, but that's cool, man.
You get Hawkeye. We see what he can do with the bow and arrow, you know, against aliens and everything.
Definitely.
And it definitely resonated with me. And I'm sure it resonated with a lot of fans and non-fans. But it was our first time seeing all the heroes come together.
How great is that scene after the after Banner does Hulk out, and they're doing the spinning shot, and you see all of the Avengers
man, everybody's
together.
doing their thing, right?
I can remember seeing that in theaters and just being like, I never thought this would ever happen. In a million years, I never thought I'd be right here watching that.
Man, and DC had it. Like, DC could have... They could have done it. Man.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
They could have done it, man. Like, they had the Nolan run, and they could have put it to us like that at the same time. But not to Marvel succeeded.
Yeah, not to talk too much on DC, but I'll say this. My idea of what is wrong with the DCEU or World of DC or whatever you guys are calling it.
Right, it's got a new name now, right?
I think so. At Comic-Con, well, the DC Universe is just a streaming thing, but at Comic-Con they called their panel the Worlds of DC, and it covered their movies.
Okay.
So a lot of people are assuming that's what it's called, Worlds of DC. So that way it incorporates everything. Like the other world or whatever it's called, Joker with
Sure, you got multiple Jokers
Phoenix
going on.
And stuff.
We have a Phoenix Joker and we have a
Leto.
Yeah, definitely. Two different Jokers.
I think Warner Brothers is busy making Warner Brothers movies with their DC properties. Kind of like Sony makes Sony movies with their Marvel properties, but Marvel Studios makes Marvel movies.
Films,
exactly. Yeah. So that's your number 8, and it's a great one, man. Avengers is awesome. My number 7, moving forward, is Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I'm sure.
All right, it's a little different on my list.
Is Spider-Man Homecoming on your list?
It is on my top 10.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I put it at number 7 because, like you said earlier, we are in a very unfortunate world of so much
Oh my
good
God, yeah.
that making this list was difficult.
Riches. It was
yes,
difficult, man.
difficult, very difficult. Because you're like, man, I like this part of this movie, but this movie was made a little bit better. But even though this movie was made a little bit better, I really like this character more. And there's so much that goes into making this list.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, like I said, I got my Spider-Man tattoo here.
Awesome.
And I recently just did a video with one of our other contributors at LRMonline.com. Nick, we ranked all 6 Spider-Man movies.
I'm looking forward to
so
that.
Yeah,
man.
definitely find that on YouTube and the website, of course.
Awesome.
And man, I really need to stop plugging. I don't think we're going to get any extra money from plugging it.
I don't think so, but
I think we've maxed out. We're almost like Krispy Kreme on Power Rangers.
Oh
movie.
man, that was hey, we're gonna have the final battle at Krispy Kreme.
Yes.
That's where the MacGuffin is.
Yep. And she's gonna eat some Krispy Kreme, and we're gonna say Krispy Kreme at least 10 times.
Kreme,
exactly.
The Sword is powered by Krispy Kreme donuts, as a matter of fact.
But I love Spider-Man Homecoming. It is definitely a great movie. Tom Holland does an amazing job as both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He gets it that the two characters are separate but one and the same.
Sure.
The quips are good. The writing was good. The action was great. And how amazing was... And even though we got to see...
Marissa Tomei.
Dude, yes, Marissa Tomei. That was hilarious. The whole hot aunt type thing with Tony Stark, which started in Civil War but was carried a little bit more into this movie.
Yeah.
And the outfit from Civil War was in this movie. The expressive eyes are great. It was great. Civil War's on my list. It's a little bit higher than Spider-Man Homecoming. The villain was one of the best parts.
For sure. Oh, man.
And one of the best villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He is like an authentic villain.
Yes.
Relatable, man.
And how...
I can totally go with it.
How, did you see it in theaters?
Tony Stark's a jerk, man.
Yeah, Tony Stark is a jerk. But did you see Spider-Man Homecoming in theaters?
Oh, I did, yeah.
When did you know that Vulture was going to be the dad of the love interest?
I did not know that.
How, I
got that twist.
I heard a collective in the
when
theaters
he showed up
when he opens the door.
I was like, oh my God.
Absolutely.
This is going to be interesting.
It was great. And it's Michael Keaton who's Beetlejuice.
And Batman.
And Birdman.
Right.
Not the Harvey Birdman, but
but Birdman, the actor within the actor.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's Michael Keaton. He did a great job.
He's awesome.
It's a different Vulture than what we had in the comic books, but it worked.
It makes a lot of sense, man.
It worked.
Yeah.
Well, since we're going to cover it a little bit more, go ahead and tell me your number 7.
My number 7 is going to be The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, Volume 1?
Volume 1, man.
Okay, good choice. I got that on here, too.
Do you? Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure it had to make it into your top 10, man. It's an awesome film. It's like a family dynamic. Who cannot love Starlord, man? This dude is so epic in this film.
Pratt does such a great job with the
He
character.
does an effortless job with this character. I'm sure it was hard work, but it comes across like in an effortless manner.
Yeah.
No one knew. I mean, you're talking about like third string characters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, you think Marvel would have been saying, let's get Wolverine, let's get Jean Grey, Professor Xavier. No, they went deep, man. They dug and got the Guardians of the Galaxy. And we were introduced to Starlord, Groot, the rest of the team, and it works great. Man.
And they went with they didn't go with the original team, which included like Yondu and Stakar, who show up in. Well, Yondu's in the first one, but Stakar shows up in the second one.
Yeah.
But they went with a more like modern version of the
take
team.
On the team, right? Yeah. And Dave Bautista, great man. Like, the movie is, to me, it's like, and I know there's a lot going on with James Gunn and everything like that. But it was like the injection that Marvel needed. Yeah. It was like, let's take it to another level. Let's give you characters you never seen before in a world you never imagined that you would see on screen without any prior introduction. We weren't priorly introduced to, the cosmic universe in any of these Marvel films as far as I can remember. And the villains were solid. I mean,
Ronan,
what can you hate about Ronan the Accuser, man? And Groot's sacrifice was so, like, it felt so heartfelt,
I got a friend.
And the dance off at the end.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, man.
That was hilarious.
It was
I like
a
that.
family. It felt like you were part of that family.
It's
man.
a distraction. You bloody call him like a turd nugget or something like that. It was great. I really enjoyed it. The soundtrack, of course, phenomenal.
Oh my God, that rock, man. It's got a special place in my heart.
Yeah, my father raised me on a lot of music similar to that.
Really?
And so I had heard most of those songs, but it was great.
God. Okay.
It was great to see. Yeah,
perspective.
It was great to see other people getting exposed to stuff that I already had on my playlist.
Okay.
But definitely really appreciate it. My son He loves that. My son was born in 2013, so
Nice.
he was a little young to see the movie in theaters.
Right.
But I've got videos of him dancing to "Come and Get Your Love"
Oh, wow,
by
man,
Redbone
really? Nice.
when he was just a little guy.
Oh, my God.
And I
That's
can't wait to
classic.
show that to like his significant other when he
Oh, man,
when he
you
starts
got to.
dating
You got
and
to pull
embarrass the
that out
crap
all
out
the
of him.
time.
Exactly.
Come over here, I'll show you something. Right? Yeah.
So I did. I love the movie. I think the villain was okay. My same buddy that didn't like some of the underpowering of like Drax
Sure.
and some of the cosmic stuff.
Right.
He felt
And when you
Ronan
mention
was
that,
too
like,
underpowered.
How powerful is Drax?
See,
I'm
personally,
only familiar with the Drax in the film.
yeah, personally, I don't know. I never really read those comics, but my buddy, he explained it like Drax could have taken on Ronan by himself,
Wow.
basically. You
Okay.
know, Drax can go toe to
Toe-to-toe
toe
with
with
these
like
folks,
Thanos and stuff like
Wow,
that. Maybe
alright.
not win, but
Sure.
hold his
He
own.
can throw in some blows.
Yeah,
Nice.
But the
Oh, man.
MCU is different than the
course.
comics.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the comics are inspiration and they're a touchstone to go back to.
Right.
But I think if you were dealing with all those characters that powerful,
Sure.
I don't think it would be as interesting as
It wouldn't be
is.
as compelling,
Yeah,
man.
I think
Yeah,
part of
it's
what
like-
makes Drax
You don't want Drax running up to Thanos like
and just
uppercut
deck
the folks.
him. You
Yeah,
know, I
laying
think
them out.
I think one of the things that makes Drax, besides the growth in the comedy,
He's invisible. I like his invisibility.
yeah, that was hilarious in Infinity War. But
Yeah.
I think what makes him more relatable is he isn't as powerful as he is in the comics.
Okay.
So he's got weaknesses. He can be defeated.
sure.
But he thinks he's the most
Think
powerful
he's-
thing in the world.
You're right,
You know,
yeah.
he took on Ronan
he went at it, man.
on Nowhere in the
Yeah,
first movie.
sure.
So
It's a good choice.
yeah,
Good
no,
film, man.
absolutely, it's a blast.
film.
So let's go into number 6.
What's your number 6, man?
My number 6 is the Master of the Mystic Arts, Doctor Strange,
Wow.
Doctor Stephen Strange.
Interesting.
Is Doctor Strange on your top 10?
It is nowhere
Oh,
on
wow.
my top 10 list.
I
man.
loved it so much. Look,
I'm gonna watch it again today.
You should, you
I'm
should.
gonna watch it again today.
first and foremost, Marvel backtracked on what they said earlier about not having magic be a
Right.
part
Oh,
of
sure, from, like,
the
Thor, right?
MCUs.
Trying to
Yeah,
explain it.
and
Yeah.
they gave us magic. They say we're casting spells, we're using magic. It's not technology. It's not
Right,
science.
there's magic
You know,
there.
they're using the power of the multiverse, the energies that
Right.
exist in the multiple universes to cast spells. Absolutely love it, and even though it might not be in your top 10.
I gotta watch it again.
Do you not agree that Benedict Cumberbatch has one of the best portrayals of his
Oh, man.
character?
I feel like I can't imagine anybody else as Doctor Strange.
You know, I had one name, and many years ago, me and my friends were discussing who we would cast as Doctor Strange.
Who'd you come up with?
Ewan McGregor.
Oh man,
I
that
wanted
would be sick,
that would be
man.
great,
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
it?
Yeah.
I wanted a Ewan McGregor Doctor Strange,
Oh,
but
God.
I would not trade Cumberbatch for
He
McGregor.
does it. He nails it.
He's
man.
got it perfectly.
Yeah, he does. Like his clips with Tony.
Yes, and
the
Infinity
latest
War.
film.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely great. Doctor Strange was fine. Well, not fine. Doctor Strange was great. The villain,
What do you think about the
Caecilius,
villain?
it
Yeah.
was weak. Like most things in Marvel, they get the character, they get the heroes right, but they really lack on the
Sure.
villains.
Yeah, you gotta have a great
often.
villain. You need
Yeah.
to build the butcher to kind of make your character
Exactly.
really
but,
shine.
you know, we get Dormammu mentioned, and hopefully in the sequel we get that. We get to see the fresh take on Mordo,
Sure.
who's a very different Mordo than we see in the comic books. And I really, really like his, like, internal struggle of you're breaking the rules, you're using magic the way you're not supposed to. He's like a
Right.
true
Right.
believer in the
Yeah.
cause.
Right.
Which
Definitely.
which
I
almost
can see
makes him
that.
as much as a fanatic as Caecilius was,
Almost, right.
but on a different,
He's like
side of the coin.
opposite of the
Yeah.
coin, yeah.
And I think Cumberbatch did great. Mordo was great.
Huh.
Caecilius was weak. I liked the interactions with
Right.
Dormammu. I thought that was cool. The
Sure.
visuals were awesome.
Oh, yeah, I can definitely get down with that, man.
Another friend of mine said that this was the only MCU movie he's ever seen in 3D that he liked
Really?
in 3D.
Interesting.
So I got a 3D TV. I
haven't
just
seen
never
it.
got
It
around
lives
to
in
watching
3D.
it in
Okay,
3D.
nice,
but
nice.
maybe I
You
should.
definitely should, yeah.
So that's my number 6, man. It's Doctor Strange.
Awesome.
I loved it.
Cool. My number 6, man, is going to be Captain America Civil War.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little bit lower than I got it.
Really?
A little bit.
Okay. Well, I'll put it there because it's Captain America 3,
Yep.
right? It tells a unique story. We get to see AntMan or Giant Man.
Yes.
Folks, you know, we get to
Which
see.
was ruined by the Lego playset that was released.
Man. Yeah.
Way to go, Lego, spoiling everything for us.
Man. You gotta wait for the release date of the film before you actually show the dimensions and specifics of your action figures, you know. Which I think NECA is great with. Like NECA, I've been, not to go off on a tangent, but trying to get these Predator action figures.
Yeah.
And NECA has a figure where it says Predator, but it says like no details will be released until the actual film comes out.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, that'd be good.
Yeah. So I can definitely get down with that. And so I can see how they ruin that. But Captain America Civil War for me was awesome because you got the Winter Soldier in there.
Yep. He was involved.
Oh man. And they've been really, Marvel has been really stoking that whole that friendship between Rogers and
Barnes.
Yep. Yeah. So you get this now. He's a Winter Soldier, and we saw him as a Winter Soldier previously, but now you get to see Rogers actually stand up for his buddy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's splinter straight through the whole team.
Yes.
You know, and the effects and ramifications of that. And to me, that was just like, that was awesome to see these two different teams. Oh, and we get the introduction of Spider-Man there.
Yeah, and Black Panther.
Yes. Seamlessly, man. Both characters coming off. Like, that's how great Marvel is.
Yeah.
They introduce these two characters and you're with it. You're gone.
And it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like they were out of place.
Man, it was when you saw Spider-Man and he's making these quips and everything and he's introducing himself. Oh, my God.
Oh, you got a metal arm? That's so awesome.
Oh, man. Because you get how powerful Spider-Man is.
He just catches Winter Soldier's punch like it's nothing.
Oh, my God. To me, it definitely deserves a spot on my number 10 list.
Definitely.
And for me, it would be number 6.
Definitely. I love the movie. I thought it's a blast. I got a little bit higher, so we'll discuss it a little bit more.
Interesting.
So let's go ahead and get to our number 5.
Sure.
It was really hard to rank these 5 movies.
Top 5, man.
Top 5. You got
that's complicated.
20 movies. Got to whittle it down to your top 5.
That's hard.
You know, is there any MCU movie that you would never watch again? Like you just, is there any that you hate?
There's none that I hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're all competently made.
I might not walk up to my Blu-ray rack and like pick up the first Captain America movie, but if it's on TV,
you know what,
or somebody else is watching it, I'll watch it.
See, I'm a fan of Captain America because I was a big fan of the Rocketeer.
Okay.
And I can get down with that whole aesthetic.
Kind of had that, yeah.
Yeah, that whole like retro futuristic sort of thing. You know, just punch the Nazis in their face.
Yes,
you know?
well, I'm all down for punching Nazis.
You know? Yeah.
I'm all down for punching Hitler. That's actually one of my favorite scenes in that first movie is when he's doing the shows, kind of like doing the USO shows.
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, I punched Hitler 200 some odd times.
Right. Yeah.
I like that. I like how Evans did a great job but the villain sucked.
Oh yeah.
You wasted Hugo Weaving.
Oh yeah.
He's
a great actor, man.
And such beautiful makeup. Right. That was practical.
That was awesome.
Mask.
That was spot on.
That wasn't CGI.
Man. No.
It was perfect.
Right.
And you wasted it.
You
didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
I think part of it was Disney was really afraid. They went with Hydra instead of Nazis because you can't really sell toys with swastikas.
Man, it's difficult.
You know, and I got that, but still, you could have made Hydra as vicious and evil and as dedicated to their cause as the Nazis were. Yeah,
at the same time.
And you didn't. You just kind of got like a guy whose ego was the main villain.
That was the thing.
Yeah,
his ego.
And it didn't really. They wasted
the character.
They wasted the character.
They brought him back later on.
I like the way he is in Infinity War, and I'm hoping he shows up again.
Really?
Imagine now that the Soul Stone is gone, if he can come back
If he can come back to Earth, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that'd be sinister.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Hydra again?
Yep.
Oh,
well, maybe not even Hydra. Just now he's got all these powers and this knowledge.
Right.
Imagine what he can do.
There, right?
Yeah. Imagine what he can do.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it, man. I'm going to hit you with my number 5, which is Guardians of the Galaxy. The very first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Very first one. Interesting.
I loved it. It was a blast.
How did it make your number 5?
I honestly, I don't know. I had to sit down and think and pray and meditate and call friends and call family, and I had to watch all 20 movies all over again. It's one of those movies because it was a game changer. You know, some of the way that we rank these movies, you got to give not just on the quality of the movie or the quality of the story, but also what it meant.
Impact.
Yeah, the impact.
It's very important.
Yeah. And this one had a lot of impact. You're talking not the B team, not the C team, maybe not even the D team.
Man.
I mean, you're talking like scraping the bottom of the barrel here as
man.
far as what people know.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
And you're just like, nah, screw it. We're going to get this guy, James Gunn, who...
Off of Slither, man.
Yeah,
like
off of Slither
movies,
and his history with trauma.
Oh, right.
A lot of people don't know that. You know, there's all this controversy about James Gunn. Yeah. I was actually originally surprised that he was hired in the first place simply because of his history with trauma.
Right.
If you've ever seen like Tromeo and Juliet, if you've ever seen Poultrygeist, if you've ever seen The Toxic Avenger, even. Man. I was really surprised they hired him.
That's an odd choice.
Yeah,
but action film director,
he did a great job. The music was great.
He may have done the best job out of any,
at least out of any first time director for the MCU.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
It was a unique take on characters.
They knew
I love.
What they knew about.
Yeah, I love everybody that's in the movie. I mean, Zoe and Chris and Dave and Bradley.
Oh man,
and even Vin. Even though all he says is "I am Groot," he does put inflection and stuff. You know,
yeah, he is Groot.
And the way I understand is that James handed him a script with what Groot was actually saying, and Vin Diesel had to translate that into his "I am Groot."
Seriously?
Yeah. So it'd be like, here you're saying, I really don't want to do this. Yeah, exactly.
I am Groot.
Yep.
Oh,
wow. So he knew what Groot was supposed to be saying, but he had to figure out how to say that as I am Groot.
Oh, wow.
I really enjoyed it. The villain was fine. Ronan the Accuser.
Yeah.
I got a friend who,
he was a big zealot,
I got a friend who thinks that Ronan is underpowered. I think I've mentioned that in the past.
Sure.
But he really did enjoy the movie overall, and he's big in the cosmic comic books.
Sure.
And yeah, it was great.
To Thor. I mean, not Thor. We got
Thanos. Yeah. There you get more Thanos than you got since the Avengers, the first Avengers movie. So yeah, that's my number 5, man. Guardians of the Galaxy. What do you got?
My number 5 is gonna be. I'm interested to see what you say about this, so where you're at.
What do you got?
But I have Avengers Infinity War.
Wow, that low?
Number 5.
I'm done. I'm leaving. No.
My cause end of the show, folks. We're glad to have you here. It's another episode of Top 10. Thanks for joining us. Till next time.
Okay, so go ahead and explain to me why it's at number 5 instead of where it should be, which is like number like 1 plus.
Right.
You know, like we're just putting it ahead of all movies.
Ahead of everything, right?
Even things coming in the future.
It gets my top 5, at least my number 5, because it is a great culmination of all these characters coming together on the screen. It's not a game changer, in my opinion.
What?
You know? It's not a game changer. It's not
I might really have to leave.
I mean, we get Thanos, and we get like, okay, you can make a movie powered by, a villain's storyline. We get that, right? That we haven't done that in a Marvel movie before, right? Just taking it from a villain's perspective almost, right? But in this film, we get that. We actually can see how he's like a sympathetic character, kind of, right? He's doing this in Thanos' opinion, he's a hero.
Yeah.
He's doing this to save the universe.
Yeah.
Right? He's just like a bit more altruistic than the rest of like Iron Man and Tony Stark and everybody. It's like, oh, we gotta save everybody,
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed seeing all the characters come together and culminate on one screen. I felt like that was a solid job, but it didn't feel like a game changer of a film to me. It felt like more like fan service. It's like we've stuck in for this long, we've stood by, we've done all the post-credit scenes, and we've seen, Thanos pop up, and he's looked different every time we've seen him at the end of a goddamn film,
he's looked different, I'll give you that.
But this iteration of him is the best, though. With, Josh Brolin, he nails that goddamn character, man.
Perfectly.
In a way that, he seems like a hero almost,
He does.
And, so that's why it gets my top 5, It's to me, it's a little bit more Thanos driven, as opposed to some of our hero driven. If any hero you could say was in charge of the film most, it would be Iron Man. In my opinion, he has a relationship with Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and everything, and he does a lot of that final battle. With Thanos on what planet were they on?
They were on Titan.
On Titan, right? Yeah, and so it feels like a solid culmination. Like you see that Marvel knows what they're doing, and they're going to pay it off in a correct way to their fans. But, something like Captain America, Winter Soldier was a bit of a game changer for me, and then they introduced that you could have like a spy film exist as a superhero film and work great, marvelously within the Marvel universe, no pun intended.
Cut. Scoot in a little bit. You're at the edge of the...
edge?
Yeah,
cool.
There we go. All right. Ready?
Is that better?
Yeah,
cool.
You're definitely better.
All right.
And... Okay, cool, man. I get that. Number
What do you think
5, you know, it
I'm
definitely...
interested in your opinion on that.
It's much higher on my list.
Really?
Infinity War, I think, was a game changer. This is one of the things about Infinity War, and we'll discuss it a little bit more when we get to it on my list.
Okay, sure. I'm looking
just so
forward
we don't
to it,
kill
man.
it all now, and I don't have anything to say when I get there.
Don't blow it all now, man. Save it.
But the Russos, I mean, look... When they were juggling the much more simple story of Winter Soldier,
right,
and then they go to Civil War where they've got a dozen characters,
right,
and you look at that compared to Avengers 1 and Avengers Age of Ultron, and you're like, man, it would be really hard to juggle all these characters.
Sure.
And they knocked it out of the park with Civil War, and then you get to Infinity War where you've got like 30 characters, and I don't feel like anybody was cheated whatsoever.
And they directed all of those characters.
Yeah, they did an amazing job with it.
They did a great job with Thor.
Yep. And their pairings were real good.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Thor and Rocket, man. That was hilarious.
We'll get there.
All right,
so.
I'm interested. All right, cool.
Speaking of the Russos, my number 4 film is Captain America: Civil War.
All right, yeah.
I love Civil War. I thought it was a blast.
Cool.
I know me and you have discussed Civil War on the side,
definitely.
And in the past, I should say.
Right.
Civil War was a fun film. I like the premise of it. I like seeing the Avengers being torn apart.
Yeah.
I really,
fractured, man.
yeah, really fractured. And it's not as politically motivated as it was in the comic books.
Right.
But it was definitely still had that inspiration.
Right,
from
we
the
didn't
comics.
Get the death of Captain America.
Yeah,
you know?
Which I am actually saddened by. I'm not lying.
Man.
I love Captain America. I love Chris Evans.
Man.
But he needed to either die in Civil War and have Bucky pick up the shield.
Oh my God, that'd be
or
great.
he needed to die in Infinity War. Neither of which happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They give him. It's so much weight to that, man.
Yeah, I guess. But
I guess they weren't ready to saddle up with it.
I loved Civil War, man.
Civil War was a great choice.
It was a lot of fun.
It's a fun movie.
Tony is great in it. I like Thunderbolt Ross being brought in.
Tony is great throughout all these Marvel movies,
two things about Tony Stark in that movie, two things about Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
When he goes after Winter Soldier there in Europe when he's trying to escape.
Right.
And Tony's only got the hand part on, right? And he's fighting with the Winter Soldier.
Right.
And the Winter Soldier just barely misses. And Tony's so used to being protected by the army, he's not used to really coming up that close to death.
Right.
And the look on Downey Jr.'s face when that gun just barely misses
man.
It is really good acting.
Definitely.
Really good acting. Yeah. Really good facial expressions. I
For
really
sure.
appreciated that. And then you get to his last fight with Steve.
Oh, man.
And here you can tell where Tony's gone off the deep end.
Yeah.
Because when Cap raises his shield and right before he smacks it down.
Slam it down, man.
Tony, you can see the fear of death again on Tony's face.
Right.
He thinks Captain America is going to kill him.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know
that.
Yeah, he doesn't understand that's not who Cap is.
Right.
And so while Tony was willing to kill Bucky,
his parents died, right? By the Winter Soldier.
By the Winter Soldier. He was willing to kill Bucky. I have no doubt in my mind. He would have killed Bucky.
Man. He
so he's thinking that Steve is on the same level, but Steve is like, it has nothing to do with that. This is not... Steve is more logical, less emotional. Yeah, so I really appreciated that. And so, yeah, Captain America Civil War ranks number 4 on my list, man.
Nice.
So what do you got?
It's a worthy choice, man. Number 4 on my list would have to be Black Panther.
Okay.
Black Panther, because it was a competent film. To me, it really introduced a villain for like the first time in the Marvel universe that we had that we could anybody could relate to him. It's like you see both of them from like opposite sides of the coin. We're all introduced into Wakanda and Wakanda politics and everything, and so we're coming at it from as outsiders basically. In the perspective of Killmonger throughout the film. And it had Michonne from The Walking Dead and everything, and oh my God, man, it had some really cool action scenes.
Definitely.
So for me, it would have to be number 4 on my list. The end sequence, the battle in Wakanda, with Killmonger. Once they got into the trains and everything, I felt it got kind of a little weird.
A little too CGI heavy. I could feel that. But how else are you supposed to show the suit coming on and off and on and off?
Yeah, with that level of technology, right? Yeah, but it to me it was a solid film.
Now, I know me and you've discussed Black Panther before.
Sure. Yeah,
How do you feel about the fact they killed off Claw? I know me and you've had this discussion earlier.
I wish they saved Claw, because to me he's a character that could weave in and out of the rest of the Marvel universe and their stories, right? To me, killing him off was like it was a waste. It was too early. It was preeminent, you know? He was a really great character, and to kill him off and have, like, you know, and they killed off Killmonger too, at least as far as we know.
Yeah.
They saved Winter Soldier, though. You know, they saved... So,
do you hope one of them or both of them comes back?
If anyone had to come back, it would have to be Claw for me.
Okay.
You know, I mean, Killmonger was a good character, but he more served as like a foil to Black Panther and his ideals and everything. Like,
and a way to progress that character.
I don't see Killmonger operating on a level in the MCU and actually making sense as a character, doing things that actually affect the rest of the world, you know? But it was a good film. We went seamlessly from seeing Black Panther introduced in a previous film.
Yep.
You know, to here we're right in Wakanda, and it was like, wow, it felt more thought out than Thor Ragnarok as far as like the world building, you know, because it was like you didn't question anything. It's like, man, it was like, oh my god, they've got a lot going on here, and they're blending in spears with, like, you know, that's like, you know, old tech with new tech and everything. You know,
like the spears shooting out lasers.
And everything like that. You know, so I thought it was a really competently made film, and it really did a good job at introducing a character like Black Panther that not a lot of fans were aware of. I felt like at that time, he's definitely not a first string character. No. You know, he had his. I think. What network was it that did the Black Panther
Didn't
cartoon?
BET do it? I think it was
BET,
BET,
right? Yeah. And they had like Juggernaut in it and everything like that. Yeah. And
that one I felt like it wasn't quite. It wasn't the Black Panther I knew from the comic books.
Wasn't, right?
It felt a little more Americanized, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it did. It was all about this, like, you know, this America against Africa sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's one of the really unique things about Black Panther. And Black Panther is definitely, obviously, in my top 10, but
cool.
It didn't make it into my top 5 because there's just so many Marvel movies to put in there.
So many, though. It's hard
so
to
many
choose,
Marvel
man.
movies to put in there. But one of the cool things about that movie is it is not necessarily an American movie.
Right.
You know, this is an American superhero as far as created in America.
Right,
you know.
right.
And but it is a first and foremost an international movie,
right.
and a African movie.
Sure.
And very, very immersed in that world,
right.
in that continent,
sure.
in the colors and the look and the
man.
feel.
They put that world to life.
They, like you said, they brought it to life, and I mean, way to go on that. I don't think that cartoon really captured that. They were making it more for an American audience.
Yeah.
This movie was made for a worldwide audience, and definitely America in mind, where
sure.
we are the first or second largest, movie audience there is, with China.
Right.
It's kind of like switching depending on the movie.
It depends on the film.
But
right?
they made it an African movie. It was not too American. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
No, that makes sense. I mean, the cartoon was more made from like. You need to watch it from an American perspective.
Yeah.
Let's see the, let's imagine these outsiders trying to come into this country and everything in this continent. But, I mean, honestly, after Black Panther came out, man, I can't tell you how many people I met that within the next 2 weeks after its release, I talked to them and they just randomly go, Wakanda forever, And I was like, wow, that's a cultural event.
Yeah,
we got
absolutely.
people, from all around the world just going Wakanda forever. I haven't seen that before.
A blast in the film, and just like I've said before, it's easily gets at least one Oscar in my mind, and that's costumes.
Oh, the costumes were on point, man.
Hands down.
Yeah.
And by all means, Disney, go after Best Picture. Go after it. Not just a popular film, but Best Picture.
Yeah, good Best Picture.
It's good. I think Infinity War, like I said before, is I think it's an overall better movie, but
right.
That's we'll get into Infinity War again.
Yeah.
So Black Panther,
so many choices,
great,
man.
Such a great movie.
Yeah.
Mine
number 3.
Yeah, we're into the top 3 now, and this was kind of tough.
Down to the wire.
The original Avengers.
I can get that.
Yep.
Why is the original Avengers in your top 3?
And me and you discussed this earlier. Impact.
Sure.
Whoever thought they would see an Avengers movie done right?
Right.
You think of like team up movies. You start thinking of the X-Men films.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin.
Oh man! Oh my God!
You don't think of something. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You don't think of something that is going to be that good.
Yeah.
You got a great villain in Loki.
So many characters all coming together on screen.
You get your Maria Hill, your Nick Fury, of course your Avengers. You got Thor, Widow, Hawkeye, Cap, Hulk, and Iron Man.
Sure.
And they did such a great job balancing them.
They did.
Joss Whedon gets it. He's a comic book. He's a fanboy.
Coming from Buffy the Vampire.
Yeah, right? And then Firefly / Serenity.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good movie.
Yeah, Angel and Dollhouse and so much.
For sure.
Joss Whedon, he gets it. He is a fanboy.
Definitely.
You can feel that his run on X-Men was great. I think it was Astonishing X-Men.
Nice.
Was actually a really, really great story. And so you had a fanboy making a fanboy movie.
Right. What more could you ask for,
and that's why we got a helicarrier. I know you're excited about the
helicarrier, right?
Nobody else, I don't even think Jon Favreau and Iron Man would have thought to have a flying aircraft carrier,
But it's like the pin, it's what you need, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I love that first scene with all the Avengers and the cameras kind of circling them and the Chitauri are all up on the buildings. It was such a perfect comic book scene, and then and then you even can see panels when it's like one continuous shot, but it's not really continuous. And there, you see Tony flying, you see Hawkman fighting, you see Hulk and Thor on the back of one of those giant space worms, and that looks like a comic. That looks like a comic book panel. You get Tony shooting repulsors at the shield, and Cap's dispersing it to bad guys. It is a great comic book movie. It is not the best movie. I'd actually say several MCU movies are better made with better stories, including stuff like Black Panther and Guardians of the Galaxy, Spiderman Homecoming. But the impact that it had, I had to put it in my top 3.
And where else would we see Loki get fumbled like
that? And that little noise at the end where he's like...
just that thing, and it carried over to Thor Ragnarok. So I thought that was cool.
Yes, I got to get off this planet.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, man. That was great. Cool.
So what do you got, man? Number 3.
Number 3 for me is going to be Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
Thor Ragnarok. Yeah. For me, it was like a game changer in that it injected a level of comedy and levity. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't think that the Hulk could be funny.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that Thor could be funny until this point. To where it's like I'm watching this film and it's like I'm along for like a Shane Black buddy comedy ride within the MCU.
Yep.
It's like we get introduced to the Valkyrie and everything like that. We get the whole the running gag between Thor and Loki with the help. He's hurt,
Yeah.
We get that.
Get help.
Yeah, get help.
I don't want to play get help.
Yeah, we get help, and we get introduced to a lot of characters, and at the same time, it's a and we get Scourge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Carl Urban.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's great, So we get introduced to a number of characters. At the same time, it felt fresh.
Yeah.
With that director's take on it, he was coming off of What We Do in the Night, right?
What We Do in the Shadows?
In the Shadows,
yeah,
right?
I think that was a couple years before. It was a funny movie. Did you see it?
Man.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That was really funny. Like, I need to own that.
It's like The Office meets vampires.
Definitely, man. Yeah. You get all these generations of vampires in this one crib. It's really funny. And he brought that sensibility to the MCU, man, and it worked in a way that I didn't think it would work, because who could imagine Thor being funny? Yeah. Like, it opens with Thor spinning around, and he's like, wait.
I gotta come back around.
Yeah.
Well, you can see Thor getting funnier as his character progresses from the first movie through the Avengers films, his second movie up into his third.
More interactions with the more human characters. Yeah, Asgard's so serious. And Shakespearean and everything,
So it's a great pick, man. Thor Ragnarok was a blast of a film. There's just so much I couldn't put it on my top 5.
Man, there's a lot of... This is a great topic, because there's an embarrassment of riches, Again, like I say, I mean, there's like a... I mean, who would have thought? I mean, you saw Blade 1, like you said, right? And who could imagine it? When you saw Blade 1, then one day you see Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, all these characters on the big screen. Together, man. Yeah. It's great.
Fighting Thanos eventually. Like,
yeah, right?
Of all the things in this world.
Just throw Wesley Snipes in there in a Blade post-credit scene, man. Please, guys.
Blade would go so well And so if you're if you work for Netflix, you guys should listen, open up your ears, and give us a like a Dark Defenders or something with Blade, Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider.
Oh, Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider,
and Moon Knight.
That'd be sick, man.
Give me that on Netflix.
Yeah.
Give me mature Ghost Rider, Blade,
man.
and Moon
sick,
Knight,
man.
dude.
Yeah.
So good.
That'd be dope.
I totally get it, man.
That. Yeah.
It's a good movie, and these are so hard to place. But we're gonna go ahead and get to the number two. My number 2 is Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Interesting, man. This is where we get interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
and look at this. I think Captain America: Winter Soldier is probably the best made movie.
Right.
It definitely has one of the best stories. It's got a good villain.
Right.
You know, one thing I do want to go back to Civil War. I forgot to mention Zemo. We mentioned him before and how great he would be in a Thunderbolts movie, and I stand by that fact. I just wanted to touch on that one more time.
Make sure you get your story credit when it does happen.
Zemo is such a great character, and he was such a unique villain for Civil War. I don't want to go back too far and spend a lot of time on it, but I wanted to mention that one more time. But Winter Soldier, great villain. Not so much the Robert Redford, which I really did like. It was good, but Winter Soldier himself was done so well.
He was a captivating character.
Yes.
Man. This dude is like one of the shining points.
Yes. I know a lot of people were upset that they kind of wasted Bartok at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
Whatever, who cares? Evans came into his own. The Nick Fury stuff was great. Yeah. Faking his own death.
Right. That was really good.
And I really, really enjoyed the interactions Widow and Cap have. And like, oh, was that your first kiss? And things like that. Or the first time you've been kissed since you came back from the ice or whatever.
Yeah. He's just like... It touches on the fact that he's just woken up. Right?
Yeah, still kind of... I mean, he's...
In the first film, he was like... It took place
all in the past, and then he's had Avengers, and this is right after the Avengers.
After that,
you know, or shortly after the Avengers.
Sure.
And I think Widow was actually great in that movie herself.
Was good, man.
Scarlett Johansson does great. I think that's the movie where she's really gotten to show off the most range. The most range, instead of just being the ass kicker. You know, which she does great at ass kicking.
She does good.
She does great.
And
Iron Man 2 and Avengers 1 and 2, but Winter Soldier, she actually got to show a little bit more emotion, a little bit more, like you said, range.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that. It is probably the best movie overall.
Okay.
But it's not the best comic book movie. And if you change the name of these characters, you can do the exact same movie.
Right.
But not superheroes.
They don't need to be superheroes.
Yeah, they don't need to be Captain America, Black Widow, and Winter Soldier. It could be John Jacobson.
It could be, man.
You know, freaking Sarah Jane, and I don't know, I'm making names up.
What'd you think of that Winter Soldier scene when he's like, it's like taking place on the freeway?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a great scene.
Demolishing folks.
That was great.
He's unstoppable,
yes.
man.
That was great. And everything about the film is a lot of fun.
He's like Jason Bourne 6.0, man.
Yeah, it's crazy to think the Russos came from making Arrested Development.
Oh, my God.
Like, from Arrested Development
man.
to Captain America,
and that's one of my favorite
Winter
shows,
Soldier.
Man.
Yeah. So that's my number 2, man. What you got at number 2?
My number 2 would have to be Spider-Man Homecoming.
Wow. You ranked that up there.
I ranked it up there, man.
Way up there.
Out of all the Spider-Mans, like, that one really nailed that character. I'm a huge fan of Peter Parker, man. And to see, and I'm a big fan of, Michael Keaton from Batman, the original Batman, and Batman Returns. And to see him...
Beetlejuice.
Oh my God, Beetlejuice! I was just listening to Harry Belafonte today, this morning when I woke up. My kids were like, "Oh my God, I know this song." They're dancing around the house and everything. I'm like, "Yeah, this is music," And to see, Michael Keaton come from, Beetlejuice, Batman, Multiplicity. I mean, all of these films, man. And here he is again, but now he's a villain.
Yes.
He's the Vulture. And a competent villain.
Very competent.
A villain that you can really, you can understand why
his motivation.
His motivation. You really get it. It's like he was the guy. I mean, because you can understand, if you twist it a little bit, Tony is a bit of a jerk,
Yeah.
And so you can see how, I mean, despite the fact that what the Vulture was doing was wrong. I mean, he's turning it into weapons, But you can see how he's being muscled out of that sort of
he had the contract.
He had the contract, man. All of a sudden they're showing up and like, no,
the least
out
damage
here.
control could have done was hire them on as part of damage control.
Yeah. And so I totally go with the character. He's very American, hardworking, and just trying to provide for his family. And Tom Holland's there, and to see him, as really get to see him as Spider-Man and Peter Parker for the first time outside of seeing them.
Both characters,
man,
on
right.
screen.
Yes, man. To me, it deserves a number 2 spot for me, man.
Okay, I get it, man. I love Spider-Man, like I've said before.
And we get the Shocker, man. Like,
yep, 2 Shockers.
2 Shockers, right?
2 Shockers.
Yeah.
And the Prowler.
Childish Gambino.
Well, yeah. And I love that. That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, you know.
When he just leaves him there?
Not just that, but even when he shows up, he's like, who are you? Let's speak through the deep voice. Yeah. He's like, I know a girl when I hear one. I'm not a girl. I'm a boy. I mean, I'm a man.
It's a solid film, you know.
It is. The writers finally got it. And take that, Sony.
My favorite Spider-Man
Take
film.
that, Sony. That's all I'm gonna say.
Sure. Yeah. So what's your number 2?
No, that we're at to my number 1 now.
Oh wow.
We're at to my number 1.
Man. I'm
yes.
ahead of myself.
My number 2 was Winter Soldier, and number 1, Infinity War. Yeah, I haven't heard it on my list.
Infinity War make your
Infinity
number 1?
War. Look, it is the most comic book movie of them all.
Right.
So many scenes, like other Avengers movies that Joss Whedon did. So many scenes ripped straight from the panels. You could literally snapshot it, put it in white border, and comic book panel.
Sure,
right.
Sure.
Thanos, one of the best villains they've had, and he does such a great job. The motivation for the villain is great.
Right. Those scenes on nowhere.
Yeah. Everything about the movie was just, from beginning to end, I'm sucked in, and it doesn't. The pacing in that movie has got some of the best pacing.
Sure.
For
out of all the Marvel movies, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. It does not feel as long as it is.
How long is the runtime of that?
Close to 2.5.
Really?
Close to 2.5. But it doesn't feel like that.
An hour and a half.
Yeah,
man.
it doesn't feel like that at all. By the time you get to Tony Strange and Spidey up messing with Ebony Maw. You're almost halfway through the movie, but it feels like you just
seems
saw.
Like it just started, man.
Yeah, you feel like you just saw Loki get choked out, and talk about death and destruction, man. You know, you get Loki choked out.
Sure. Hulk manhandled.
Hulk,
it's nothing.
Man, and I love that line. Let him have some fun.
Yeah,
Let him have his fun.
Right?
You know.
Yeah.
You get
we get a lot of deaths, man.
Heimdall gets stabbed.
Oh, that was so sad.
It was, but you know, well, here's the funny thing. I like that. One of those YouTube shows of how it should have ended. Like, why didn't Heimdall just use the Bifrost to send Thanos into the middle of the sun or something? Yeah. You know. Well, then we wouldn't have gotten such a great movie.
Wouldn't that? It would have been over.
Yeah, I love the movie. The Russo brothers did something that nobody else could ever do.
Right.
And that's juggle like 30 characters.
How they handle that many characters and still make them come across the same way they come across in other films?
My guess is sacrificing small woodland creatures to some sort of demigod.
Basically,
that's what they had to have done.
Yeah, they had to have done that.
Because
Thor,
they went to the cross.
He's on that windshield, and they're like, "What is that?" You know?
They went to the crossroads somewhere in Louisiana, made a deal with the devil. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever they did, hey, good job, guys.
Because you don't get, that banter back and forth between Rocket Raccoon and Thor. Like
I don't think anybody else.
Oh my god!
It.
And remember Chris Pratt was he's imitating Thor with a deep voice.
So great.
Oh my god.
So great.
I can make it to the year.
And the pairings. The pairings are great. Putting Tony Stark and Doc Strange years and years ago, I mentioned how much I could not wait for Tony Stark to talk to Dr. Stephen Strange.
Right.
And they didn't let me down. It's great. It is beautiful.
And it works.
It's hilarious.
Better than you could imagine.
Yes.
You know.
Did you just say hitherto? Did you just touch the cauldron of the cosmos?
Right, yeah.
You know, and he smacks him with the cape, and he's like, I'm going to allow that.
Yeah. It's an awesome movie, man.
It was great. I loved it. I loved Infinity War, man. So, what's your number 1? Let's round this out.
Here we go. It's where it gets interesting because my number 1 is the Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, you just kind of flip-flop there.
We just flip-flop there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know a lot of people that are very similar to that. It's really hard to take those two.
Difficult, man. And it's because Winter Soldier, to me, can exist without the superheroes. Anything.
Yes.
And it was like it was a game changer in that it kind of deviated from what you expected in a superhero movie, and that when you're watching it, you're like, wow, this could exist within like a Jason Bourne universe, a John Wick universe, any of those realms. But
Jack Ryan type stuff.
Definitely. Yeah. But we get S.H.I.E.L.D., man.
Or Nick's favorite Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah, definitely. There we go. Yep. And so to me, it was just a great film, and it felt so outside but yet still within the MCU.
Yeah.
That to me has.
They even mentioned Stephen Strange in the whole Project Insight.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's got to be number one for me, man. To me, it took the most risk, and that it didn't go. Let's just play it as a straight superhero movie.
Yeah.
It's a spy movie,
yes.
man, and I love
like
spy
an old 1970s spy movie.
Definitely, man. And I'm floored by that film, man. It had to be number one on my list.
It was great. Like I said, I think it is, and again, might get some hate mail for this. I think it's the best made superhero movie, but it's not necessarily a comic book movie, except for the fact that it's Captain America.
Sure.
I think it's actually better made than Dark Knight.
Oh, I think so.
I think it is.
I feel like this film could have came out 5, 6, maybe 10 years earlier and been a great intro into the MCU.
Yes,
absolutely. It could have been like that bridge. Like, oh, you don't know what the MCU is? Here we go. We'll give you a spy movie, you know?
And like you said, it fits in. It's definitely, like I said, the best made. Probably it is. I'll go ahead and say it now. It is better made than The Dark Knight. Yeah. And I love Chris Nolan. Yeah. And it's a better movie than Infinity War, but that impact.
Man. Yeah.
What we mean, and you mentioned before, impact is why I put Infinity War over it. But man, any last words on the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Man, it is.
It's hard to rank them, isn't it?
It's hard to rank them. I didn't think that I would
5, 10.
have the privilege to live this long where I could actually go, let's rank, out of all these films that have been out.
Let me rank 20 interconnected movies.
It's complicated. Right. Who could imagine that, man? Like, I remember buying the Wizard comic, the Wizard guy back in the day and looking through it. And they'd always go, let's cast this person as this person, And, you see like Patrick Stewart is Professor Xavier. That's like the closest they've gotten. But I never thought that I would actually see those films happen. And actually made well, know. But here you've got great films, man.
Amazing films.
Amazing movies.
Who do you think has been the best cast hero?
Best cast hero? Man, it would have to be Robert Downey Jr. for me. Yeah. Because he is Iron Man.
He is.
He's Iron Man.
I give you that.
Through and through.
I think they walked up and they're like, okay, Robert, you are Robert. Just respond to the name Tony, okay?
Exactly,
just
right?
Be you. Just respond to the name Tony.
Out of everybody else, man. Yeah, he's
Actually,
what about you? What do you think?
Mine is Chris Evans as Captain America, as Steve Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
I think he embodies him. He's had a pretty decent arc. His changes from the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, red, white, and blue hero to the jaded and definitely politically jaded. If I think that might be the right phrase to use. Captain America / Nomad of Infinity
we get that,
War,
right? Yeah. And we get that perfect scene. When
he's got one of the best movies. His origin film wasn't the greatest in the world. That's mostly because of the villain.
It's debatable.
But I think
I
can't imagine anybody else being Captain America.
Captain America, right? I cannot either. Yeah.
Who would you right now? You are in the casting director's office. You need to cast Reed Richards. Who are you picking?
Reed Richards.
You need to cast Reed Richards. Who are you picking?
Oh man. For Mr. Fantastic?
Yep.
So I feel like I'm in the hot seat right now, man. Oh God. Reed Richards, man.
That's tough, isn't it?
That's a tough one, man. Because there's so many actors out there, and there's ones that you wouldn't even imagine that could carry that role.
I just have a feeling we're going to get a Reed Richards sometime in the near future. I think we might actually get Fantastic Four.
Give me Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor? I love Ewan McGregor. He was my choice for Doctor Strange, like I said.
Let's put him in there.
So you want a little bit of an older Reed?
I want an older Reed.
Yeah, they kind of failed with the whole young Fantastic Four with Trank's movie.
Oh man,
it was garbage. Yeah, let's not talk about that ever again.
Let's not talk about that. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I'd rather talk about Green Lantern than Fantastic Four.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about what Grant Morrison is doing with Green Lantern now. It's a wishful ring. You can wish things into existence.
Yeah. I like that. I like Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
If you were to go with a younger one, you know who I wouldn't mind seeing because he's lesser known, and I think he's He's got the potential to do it well, and
Who's that?
the guy that played Jason Scott in the Power Rangers movie.
Really?
I think if you're going to go with a younger Reed Richards again,
Yeah.
you're going to go with one in his 20s. I think that guy can actually pull it off.
That could work,
he,
man.
He did pretty decent in
Power
Rangers.
Rangers was underrated to me,
fun
man.
movie.
It was fun, man.
It was a
Like
blast.
I watched that at least 4 times.
Yeah,
man.
it's one of my son's favorite movies.
Yeah, it's a good movie. You know.
Yeah. So there you guys go. There's our ranking of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, at least the ones that we did, because ranking all 20 films is...
we put
we tried that. That was difficult.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys do check out the website lrmonline.com. Stephon, where can they find you on the internet?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter now at Stephon White 13.
All right, and you can find me at that Kyle Malone. Make sure you guys hit likes and submits, or not submits, but likes, shares,
go on LRM,
and your subscribes and your bells and everything else.
Make it your homepage.
Make it your homepage, and we'll see you next time.
Start out the day right.
Have a good one.
Folks.